Level 90, the Hunter and the Hunted. Kashepia seeks an adventurer who likes getting up close and personal. Hello there, I take it you've spoken with Brukavu, willing to lend a hand? I am truly grateful. Then allow me to introduce myself. I am Sheshepia, and I have traveled far from my village in the forest of Zaktaral in search of a brave soul to help us retrieve our stolen treasures. For generations have my people watched over the Dreamweave cocoon, the vessel in which the power of the Swallowtail Taral Vidral is sealed. For its ascension, the Swallowtail warded off would-be predators by assuming the form of a more threatening butterflies, poisonous ones, and the like, through its skill at mimicry, okay. So it survived day after day, summer after summer, until the dawn of its great new existence. It became capable of taking on the form of any creature which crossed its path. This fearsome power was sealed within the cocoon, and any who possess it command the self-same abilities. Indeed, the wielder too may assume the form of any manner of beast or man they've beheld. Yet this mimicry is not limited to merely physical forms. No, the wielder may replicate the talents and abilities of their target, so long as such actions fall within their ken, that is. In an instant, they may become a master of the hunt, a twin-blade wielding viper or savage brock, with claws and fangs to gut whomsoever they please. It is this power which has protected my village from the predators of the forest, for though it grants many boons, the forest contains threats in equal measure. By donning the skins of its most formidable beasts, we've kept ourselves safe for generations. Without the cocoon, my village's very survival is at risk. That is why we have sent our foremost hunter, is that an L or an I? Atoka, to ensure it is reclaimed. She has never failed to capture a quarry, so I thought she would make short work of this ordeal. Yet there has been no word from her. I fear this may be a hunt which she cannot undertake alone. It's for that reason I wish to enlist the aid of one familiar with the lay of the land beyond the Great Sea, and one whose prowess in close quarters would complement her expertise with the bow. One of the villagers ran into the thief before he fled and said he intended to use the cocoon's power in Kugane, which I understand is the name of a large settlement located far, far to the east. Please, for the sake of my home, set out for this eastern habitation and assist Toka with retrieving the cocoon. Leave it to me, as long as you're willing to cover my teleportation expense. Your willingness to aid is most reassuring. You have my heartfelt thanks. Upon arriving in the Eastern Land, search for a Vieira woman carrying a bow and dressed in similar attire to myself. If you visit a tavern like this one, I dare say you may find someone who has seen her. Welcome to the Shiokaze Hostelry. How may I serve you? You're searching for someone? As a matter of fact, I do distinctly remember seeing a Vieira woman of that description earlier, but I'm afraid I could not tell you where she may be now. Last from Taral, was it? Sorry, I can't help you. That reminds me, though, I heard Taral has its own local variety of spirits called Mescal. Been meaning to taste it myself for an age now, but you've no idea how hard it is to get one's hands on a bottle of it here. Upstairs. If you're a woman bearing a bow, why yes, I do recall such a person. It was not hard not to notice her, really, given how she was peering at every little thing. She came from the distant lands to the west, and no doubt Kugane is quite the unusual sight for her. With any luck, she'll still be where I saw her, in the vicinity of the Sekusegumi barracks. So fast, woman. The city is simply too large for me to cover alone. Perhaps it's time I returned home. Okay, I've come to aid your search. Oh, is that right? I'm grateful, but why? I see, Shashepia always was a worrywart. Won't deny I appreciate the help, though. Ascertaining the whereabouts of the cocoon has been no easy task. Managed to secure a room and board in this lodging after arriving at Kugane, and have been using it as a base to track down the thief ever since. I'll tell you all I know. According to an eyewitness from my village, the thief is middle-aged Uran male. That's all we have to go on regarding his appearance. So long as he possesses the cocoon, he can be anyone and anything. An elderly woman traipsing along the street, a child throwing a ball, mayhap even a dog chasing after it. Truth be told, I was nigh at wit's end trying to find him. That is until I discovered that a series of unusual squabbles have been occurring around the city. After investigating these incidents, I found one commonality. The instigator in each case invariably had no recollection of the incident, let alone of inciting it. As more eerie accounts have begun to circulate amongst the residents, some folk claim they've somehow been seen in two places at once. Based on all of this, I believe the thief's been using the Dreamweave cocoon to transform into innocence and spread discord throughout the city. Stands to reason we can find him by following the trail of chaos left in his wake. No, and yet even should we apprehend him in whatever form he's hidden himself within, there's nothing to stop him from feigning ignorance. Besides a secret remedy, of course. Recipe for an elixir which can forcibly remove the cocoon's enchantment has been passed down in my village for emergencies like this. I've made sure to prepare a few vials before making the voyage here. I need simply throw the solution at the suspect, and the cocoon's weave of mimicry will unfurl on the spot. That covers everything. Now, what say we see if there's any trouble afoot? The thief will undoubtedly not be far from it. Let me know when you're ready. We'll catch him together. It is set off then? Perfect. I say we begin our search with the markets. I recall a great number of people gathering in the Rakuza district, I believe it was called. Toka is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to pursue quest objectives. You can learn of the Toka behind by entering a different area by speaking with her and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have the Toka accompany you again, return and speak with her at the original location. Ooh, been a lot of reading. Think that all of this was wrought by mortal hands. Remarkable. My people have ever lived in harmony with nature, but that doesn't mean we condemn the ways of those who choose otherwise. In fact, in the brief time I've exposed to settlements like this, I've come to see such places have their merits too. Look, you thieving whore son, I told you this isn't enough. But sir, that cannot be right. I am sure I gave you your change in full. Enough, hand over my money or I'll take it by force. Customer is suspicious. The clerk is suspicious. Let's keep watch. My thoughts exactly. Reveal yourself, villain. What in the blazes do you think you're doing? Oh, sorry. Very, very sorry. Oh dear. Thousand apologies, sir. I gravely miscalculated your change. I'll return what you are owed immediately. I beg your forgiveness. I apologize for the disturbance. How dreadfully embarrassing. Well, a hunter doesn't quit after a single arrow misses its mark. Best not to dwell on what's done and instead focus on our next course of action. Let's see how things fare on Kogane Dori. We stop here. Amigo. I can't believe how impossibly vast it is. My jaw dropped when I first saw it. I could hardly fathom where the horizon ended and the sea began. Before arriving to Tuliolol, I imagined the sea to be merely a larger, saltier body of water than the lake back home. There we would race from shore to shore. To attempt the same here, I fear, would have fatal results. I'll cut you down where you stand, you lecherous lummox. What is going on here? The big bloke yonder allegedly laid his hands on that grizzled fellow's woman. Afraid this may come to blows. Calm yourself, man. I have not done what she claims. You dare add insult to injury by calling her a liar? Ignore him, I told you. That pig defiled me. Cut him down this instant. There's no truth to her words. Wherefore does she spout such rubbish? Kami, give me strength. Cut the bloody brute down already. Yes, not less than your head shall serve as penance for your crimes. Very well, let my blade prove my innocence. It's her, right? Is that really necessary? No matter, I was growing weary of this petty farce. It's time I moved on to bigger and better things. Oh, no, you don't? Oop. How odd. My bow is more out of tune than I realized. Sweetheart. Is it really you? Oh, thank the Kami you're safe. Found her lying unconscious in a nearby alleyway. She could only vaguely recall being attacked from behind before losing consciousness. The villain knocked her out before assuming her visage in a ploy to deceive her husband. I fell for the deception like a complete and utter fool. I do not even know how to begin to make amends. There are no amends to be made. You simply acted as any husband would. Due to your involvement, this matter was resolved without bloodshed. The Sekusegumi thank you. It is regrettable, however, that the villain managed to escape. A criminal who can change their shape at will is exceedingly dangerous. Know that the Sekusegumi will alert the populace to this menace and remain vigilant for any suspicious activity in the city. Let's return to my lodgings. I'd like to go over where we stand with our elusive quarry. As predicted, the thief has been using the cocoon's power of mimicry to incite conflict around the city. What he hopes to accomplish by doing so, however, is still unclear. And so long as he has this power, our sole means of tracking him remains the havoc left in his wake. A trying trail for any hunter, but I'm heartened to have a warrior like you beside me as I tread it. We'll catch him together, and when we do, we'll mete out justice he deserves. Level 90, the hunter and the hunted. Level 92, a sea of blood. Latoka is eager to continue the hunt. Good to see you. For better or worse, I haven't heard about any unusual incidents in Kugane since our last altercation with the thief. There may be a reason for that. Do you remember when he claimed he was moving on to bigger and better things? If we're to catch him, we may have to expand the scope of our search beyond Kugane. Yet he traveled all the way from Tyrol to this eastern land for a reason, and I can't imagine he'd go too far. Do you know of any other settlements nearby? Look to the Ruby Sea. Ruby Sea is dotted with settlements. People live out in those waters, but they're so vast. Where would we even begin? Ah, so the Bakufu is an outpost at the Ruby Price. That sounds like the perfect place to start. Let's make our way there and avail ourselves of the soldiers' intel. If anything out of the ordinary has occurred, no doubt they'll be aware of it, shall we? Ikaruga. Oh, this is unexpected. What brings you to the Ruby Price? Disputes? Strange you should ask. Not even a moon ago, the waters of the Ruby Sea were poised to turn a sanguinary shade. Please, tell us everything. The Confederate skiff approached the Ruby Price without authorization, and its occupant began hurling insult after insult in an obvious attempt to provoke us. We did not succumb to their provocations, however. After warning the vessel we'd fire if they drew an ilm closer, they withdrew without a word. However, should they attempt to provoke us again, we will not display the same level of restraint, and the roar of our cannons shall signal their comrades to rally in full force. The waters will flow red. Of that there can be no doubt. Tensions run high. Naught like this has ever occurred. I see. Thank you for the information. Might we speak privately? Based on the testimony just now, I gather there's an agreement in these waters that the Confederates are not to draw near the Ruby Price, guarded as it is by Bakufu sentries. If that's the case, then as the soldier stated, I can only conclude that the vessel earlier was attempting to incite a dispute between the two factions. Fits the modus operandi of our quarry, wouldn't you say? Perhaps it was he who sailed here under the banner of the Confederates. Whatever the case may be, we have nothing but conjecture. We'll need solid evidence before we can alert the soldiers here to this threat. I doubt they'll heed our warnings otherwise. First, we need to verify if any members of the Confederacy actually approached the Ruby Price. Do you know where their base of operations can be found? Sakazuki, looks like it would be fastest for us to swim there. But absolutely not. Not a one of my Confederate brothers and sisters would approach the Ruby Price without authorization. Those cowardly Bakufu dogs must have concocted this baseless rumor to get a rise out of us. Soldiers at the Ruby Price said that, did they? Pardon my language, but that's a load of shite. We have no interest in Hengen waters. If anything, I'd seen their skiffs encroaching on our territory of late. If you ask me, they're the ones thirsty for blood. There you are. Listen to what this person has to say. The situation is more grave than we thought. I'm thankful you came, and not a moment too soon. Captain Rasho ain't been acting himself. You see, normally where he goes, Tansui goes, but not today. He showed up just earlier by his lonesome and ordered us to gather as many heads as able to join him on the Isle of Beko to attend some pressing business. Normally I'd oblige a captain without a moment's hesitation, but I had a feeling something weren't right, so I asked him what manner of business we're gonna set the Ruby Price ablaze, he says. For bloody Ruby Price. Tried speaking some sense into him, but we weren't a mind to listen. Walked off saying he has no need of craven bastards like me. Look, I don't know what's gotten into the captain, but it can't be anything good. Please go to the Isle of Beko and stop him and be comrades before it's too late. This Rasho acting strangely can't be a coincidence. We need to get to that island and quickly. Do you know the way? Got it. No, we've not a moment to waste. I hear voices. Seems they've gathered up ahead. The scum think they can encroach on our territory and get away with it. I'll be damned if we let them. Tonight we lay siege to the Ruby Price and seize it for ourselves. But are you sure? If we do this, we won't just be starting a battle, we'll be starting a war. You've been acting strange, Captain. What's gotten into you? Silence. I didn't ask for your bloody opinion. Those lying dogs claimed it was us breaching the agreement. I say we give them bastards what they deserve. You're not welcome here. Be gone if you value your lives. You're a terrible actor. You're not Rasho. You saw through my disguise once again. Don't tell me you count even a pirate captain among your acquaintances. What are you trying to accomplish? Why incite such conflict wherever you go? Why, sorry to disappoint you, but contrary to the passage of the Unbound's prattling about freeing the world from the tyranny of government, I have no grand designs. Wish merely for everyone to show their true faces. Folk love to put on airs of sophistication and virtue, but push them towards the edge and their masks slip off to reveal the monsters underneath. They'll go for their neighbor's jugular to save their own skin. You've seen it for yourselves. It's quite the spectacle. Most of them just seem to want to have fun. Like, none of them seem to be doing what the passage of the Unbound wants them to do. I thought you were supposed to be a great hunter. Damn it, the winds are too strong. Man of 1,000 faces is a true menace indeed. We'll return to the Onokoro forthwith to alert the captain. Rest assured the Confederacy will be keeping a close watch over the Ruby Sea. I didn't think for a moment he was an imposter, and the lies he spouted about the Bakufu soldiers were enough to make my blood boil. To think what would have happened had you not been here to stop us. Kami bless you. All he wants is to expose people's so-called true faces. That he would use a cocoon for such a petty cause, unthinkable. Let's return to Kugane for the time being. Damn it all, I can't believe a bastard like that. Oh, forgive me, I find myself more disgusted with that villain each time we see him, and to think all of this was driven by small-minded spite. From what I could gauge, he didn't fly towards Kugane during his escape. I believe he seeks a new settlement to terrorize. Now that the Confederacy and I are acquainted, I'll see if they can help me sniff out his roost. No doubt where there's smoke, he'll be there stoking the fire. And I suppose I'll use this period to tend to my bow. Next time my arrow will fly true. Level 92, A Sea of Blood, complete. Level 94, Who's Who? Toka appears to have found a new lead. Wonderful, you're here. Ever since the incident in the Ruby Sea, I kept a line of communication with the Confederacy, and they just reported something you'll be interested to hear. Apparently a man impersonating the distinguished Lord of Doma was recently exposed. One of the Lord's retainers saw through the pretender's facade while he was attempting to stir up trouble in the Doman Enclave. The impostor then reportedly transformed into a hawk and fled. Clearly our quarry now nests in Doma. I'd like to resume our hunt immediately, but I'm not sure where he may go after his failure in the Enclave. Do any locations come to mind? A town in Yangsha called Namai, you say? That sounds promising. The extent of your knowledge is truly remarkable. Without further ado, let's make our way there and see if the residents have noticed any unusual activity. Have there been any quarrels of late? Why, yes, actually, just the other day the two of us were at each other's throats over a persimmon. She was only supposed to eat half, but she went and gobbled the whole thing. In the end, she purchased this one by way of apology, so I let bygones be bygones. What's that? This isn't the sort of quarrel you're speaking of. Doesn't make it any less important. Don't eat my food, damn it. Trouble? None that I can think of. For a blessing, all has been peaceful. Up there. By the Kami's grace, our quaint village has not seen strife since the Imperials were ousted. There has been news, however, of a man impersonating Lord Heian at the Enclave. As I am told, when Lord Heian voiced intentions to invade Nangzhe, all present grew weary of the individual. None more so than Lady Ugiri, who saw through the farce immediately. After he was exposed, the villain fled the scene with haste. Unfortunately, efforts to find him have not borne fruit. None of the residents I spoke with reported anything out of the ordinary. How did you fare? Seems the villain is not here. Where might he have gone? Huh? What are you doing here? Friend of yours? Don't hang your head like we're strangers. We met just moments ago. Remember you asked me how to reach the House of the Fierce? Good grief, Flash. You're lost, aren't you? I can understand your embarrassment, but I'll tell you the way again. Listen carefully now. Follow descending paths leading north out of the village until you see a small pond, then simply dive in and swim. The House of the Fierce will be on the other side. Could he have impersonated you this time? This doesn't bode well. We must hurry. Much obliged, sir. Oh, on the other side? Why is it on the other side? Tell me to go to the House of the Fierce. I'm not going to the house. Just how far must we swim to reach this place? I dare say my days spent in the lakes back home are about to come in handy. See myself. My friends, it's come to my attention that the Khan of Azim Steppes' mighty Oranera tribe conspires in the shadows to invade Doma. We must not give them the chance. Invasion would mean all-out war. There is only one solution. Under the cover of darkness, you must assassinate the Khan, and only with his death can this crisis be averted. Are we not the Khan? They grow wary. Perhaps I should observe my targets more carefully. With all due respect, these allegations must be brought before Lord Hien. It is imperative we receive his instructions before acting. We'll be playing right into the Oranir's hands. After all, an impostor disguised as Lord Hien was but recently exposed. An Oraniri spy, there can be no question. The spy has fled, their whereabouts unknown. They could be anyone and anywhere, weaving new schemes even as we speak. Decisive action must be taken. That is why I came to you. The impersonation of Lord Hien was but a part of the Oranir's grand scheme. But why would those who fought alongside us for the Doma's liberation conspire to invade? Forgive me, but you do not seem yourself. Something isn't right. As I am desperate, a shadow looms over Doma, and only with your help can I cast away its dark pall. Please, lend me your strength. Our honored friend risked life and limb to see Doma free, yet you address her with suspicion and doubt. She says we must act first to prevent greater bloodshed, then we must act. It's true that she has never led us astray. Brothers and sisters, let us join hands with Zilly once more to drive back this shadow rising over Doma. What is the meaning of this? That infernal aura near spy. Quickly kill her before she can escape. I am no spy. You sound nothing like me. The rod ends here. It's you. Such persistent vermin. You're not getting away this time. Are you truly the foremost hunter of your village? The problem appears to be your aim, not the bow. Ah, pathetic. You're nothing like that other girl. What was her name? Ah, yes, Toka. She was fearsome, that one, right up until the moment I drove my blade into her back. What is this? Don't tell me you've been masquerading around as Latoka herself. After all, that would make you no better than me, hiding behind the name of another, won't erase the blame you bear for everything that happened. Sorry, I swear I'll explain everything to you later. For now, we should apprise these men and women of the situation. I think he can transform into anyone, a truly fearsome ability. I shall alert Lord Heian to this threat immediately. Rest assured that all of Doma will be on alert. I was completely fooled. I have no words to express my shame. On speaking with you again, I realize that though the impostor assumed your guise, he had neither your spirit nor your grace. Forgive me, I will not fall for such a farce again. Might I have a word? Man impersonating you earlier, I'd recognize his face anywhere. Without a doubt, he is Samadare, a childhood friend. You know him? Please, you must tell us everything. I've known Samadare nearly my entire life. We have learned the shinobi arts together. You see, roughly 25 years ago, we engaged in our first battle as proud ninja defending Doma against the Empire's invasion. Every fiber in our body, we met their mighty Magitech with nimble ninjutsu. As if moved by our resolve, the mighty auspice and guardian of Doma, Tamamu Gozen, appeared on the field of battle to aid our cause. Yet our efforts were for naught. The Empire's might fell upon Doma like a hammer, and we were crushed beneath their overwhelming force. Occupation began soon after, and so too did my work from the shadows. While I devoted myself to resisting the Empire in secret, Samadare was conscripted to their army and forced to become an Imperial spy. I understand he served them well, fanning the flames of war in faraway lands through rumor and manipulation. Indeed, as far back as I can recall, Samadare has ever excelled in the skill of subterfuge. It was only after the prisoner exchange that he returned to Doma at long last, but he was a changed man. He could find no joy or solace in the peace he once fought to secure for our nation. Instead, he sought to disrupt it. War has taught me the truth of this world. Civility is but a facade to hide man's savagery, and I'll prove it here in dear Doma. Fool I am, I thought he was jesting. Only later, when I discovered the web of lies he'd spun to turn folk against one another, did I realize he meant every word. I tried to confront him, but he fled Doma before I had the chance. Nevertheless, I searched his home afterwards and discovered a missive from an organization called the Passage of the Unbound. I have it with me here. Dear illustrious Samadare, we extend our deepest gratitude for your interest in joining the Passage of the Unbound. With each passing day, our secret order draws closer to its goals, and we shall require exceptional talent for what lies ahead. Bearing these needs in mind, we have decided to welcome you into the fold to celebrate the start of an auspicious future together. We invite you to meet your colleagues until you all on and enclosed your ticket within. Exceptional talent, exceptional egos, more like. This passage of the Unbound kept a watchful eye on nations far and wide to recruit cutthroats like Samadari who only followed their own desires. Upon his arrival in Taral, Samadari's ambitions guided him to my home, where he stole the Dreamweave cocoon and set out to use it for his own twisted ends. Afraid that appears to be the way of it. In all likelihood, it is the passage of the Unbound which alerted him to this Dreamweave cocoon's existence. Today, Samadari attempted to incite a war between Doma and the Azim Steppe by wearing the face of our dearest ally. Your timely appearance prevented the worst from happening, but so long as he can alter his form and face at will, who can say what tomorrow will bring? His years as a secret operative have made him a master at reading people. Should he decide to study his target before taking their form, I fear his schemes may not be discovered until it's already too late. Please be careful, and may the Kami bless and keep you. Attempting to find Samadari now would be a fruitless endeavor. He could be any bird in the sky or any beast roaming the wild. Let us return to Kugane. I'll reveal everything to you there, I promise. I'm grateful for your help today. Once again, I let our prey slip away. The only silver lining is that we know who he is now. More importantly, I apologize for deceiving you. As Samadari said, I'm not the greatest hunter of my home. I'm not Utoka. I am Kyuki. I hail from the same village as Toka, and I too am a hunter, but only in name. You've seen my aim for yourself. Yep. Most shameful of all is that it's my fault the Dreamweave cocoon was stolen. Normally it is enshrined in the deepest recesses of our home. Only Utoka had leave to wield it. Forests provide shelter and sustenance to many, and not all we share its bounty with are friendly. When great beasts threaten our home, the cocoon's power may be used to protect our lives. Yet I used it for my own foolish desires. I couldn't take it anymore. I was a hunter, yet could barely catch prey large enough to feed myself. I was forced to wash clothes, prepare meals, and tune bows. Just once I wanted to be acknowledged. I wanted to feel pride, so I used the cocoon's power to transform myself into Lotoka. With her dexterity and finesse, I finally caught prey befitting a true hunter. As I carried my prize home, he appeared. Found him collapsed in the middle of a beaten path. I'd never had reason to mistrust someone before, so I approached to nurse his wounds. Yet the moment I drew close, he knocked the cocoon from my grasp and struck me unconscious. He was long gone by the time I awoke. I confessed my sin to the village elder, and her boundless grace she forgave me, but could not forgive myself. I left home that very eve in secret to pursue the thief all the way to Kugane. Several days of fruitlessly scouring the city, who should I see but Lutoka as our most exceptional hunter? It came as no surprise the elder had charged her with recovering the cocoon. She was astonished to see me, of course. I had told no one of my actions. I feared she would send me home, but when I expressed to her my shame, my anger, she consoled me and told me we would find the cocoon together. I was certain we would until the day that duplicitous bastard killed her. You appeared soon after her passing. I thought with someone as strong as you at my side, maybe, just maybe, I could avenge her, so I lied. Like Samadari said, I'm no better than he is. I'm an imposter, but my desire to reclaim the cocoon is every bit as strong as Utoka's was. I am so sorry for lying to you. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me and continue to aid me in reclaiming the Dreamweave cocoon. Thank you for telling me the truth. Of course I'll help. I had my suspicions, but I also had faith in you, and it's been rewarded. How could I say no? Thank you. I know with you at my side, I can keep my promise to Lutoka. Now I'll remain vigilant for any news regarding conflict in the region. Please do pay me a visit when you find a moment to spare. I'm counting on you. Level 94, Who's Who, complete. Level 96, Cornered Prey. Kyugi's brow is furrowed in uncharacteristic unease. I'm so relieved to see you. Thought you might resent me for lying to you, that you might refuse to lend me your help again. Certainly be hard-pressed to reclaim the cocoon alone in this foreign land. I truly meant what I said before. I'm counting on you. Though I'm ashamed to admit it, when I first arrived here, I was nearly swindled out of an heirloom by talking catfish. I'd been scouring the city for a shop to pawn my choker so I could secure a room and board. You see, when the catfish approached me, claiming it'd buy the necklace for a fair price, offered me a handful of coins that glittered like gold. I was about to accept the offer when the Toka appeared. In mere moments, she discerned that the catfish's currency was counterfeit and ended the transaction then and there. She dragged me to the markets afterwards and pawned her own necklace to secure lodgings for the both of us. From the moment she arrived, Toka took care of everything. What I'm trying to say is I can't do anything on my own. I'm reckless and impulsive, and I'm really just glad you have you by my side. So sad. Been some time, my friends. Pray forgive my sudden visit, but I come bearing urgent tidings. We spoke with you at the House of the Fierce. What brings you all this way? I was able to make contact with Samadare. I told him I was willing to make amends and join my oldest friend in exposing the lies of people's hearts. He responded most eagerly and bade me meet him in secret. Wait, really? Did he say where? Aye, hell's lid. I had a mind to lay an ambush for him, but not knowing the extent of the power he wields, I thought it best to seek help. So I came here to beg your aid. Your strength and valor are unequaled, and we cannot apprehend Samidare without you. You may never get another chance to catch him unawares like this. There's no time to lose. Wait, forgive me for speaking plain, Huntress, but I fear we would only be a hindrance to Zilly when fighting begins. Let us go to Hell's Lid by skiff and meet her after the villain is subdued. Oh, I take your point. You're right. Without us there to distract her, she can focus wholeheartedly on the battle. All right, would you mind going it alone? We'll be there as soon as we can. Mm-hmm. Hell's Lid we go. Still a really cool looking mountain. See no sign of Samadori. Perhaps his lair is further ahead. Trap. Still see no sign of Samadori, but feel an unsettling presence. Midori is nowhere to be found. There is naught to do but await your companion's arrival. Hey, you alright? Came as soon as, oh, is the battle over already? Where's Samadori? I was ambushed by a group of Red Kojin. Was attacked, but not by Samadori. What? So this was a trap? Wait, over there. It's a trap. Thank goodness I made it. After all the time I spent in that old Kojin's shell convincing his underlings to attack you, my blade was mere ilms from the skin of your back, alas. Meticulous plan gone to waste, it seems. I underestimated your strength and the failed huntress's tenacity. Dare say I'm outmatched, and no common beast I might mimic can stand against you. I must contemplate your deaths with more care, more rigor. Look forward to our next meeting. Forgive me, needed to catch my breath. Samadari's friend was the villain himself. As soon as the skiff made it to the open sea, he threw me overboard. I damn near had to swim like a fish to make it in here in time. He's made me into a fool. Again, he waylaid me before using a similar ruse. By the time I figured out what was what, Toka was already... I always wondered how a craven like Samadari was able to kill our greatest hunter, and now I know. When Toka felt the blade in her back and turned to see the face of her killer, she saw me. Glad I was able to prevent history from repeating itself. I don't want to lose you two. We should return to Kugane. Samadari may have planned more than one trap for us here. Feared the worst as I rushed to reach you. The moment Samadori was in sight, I charged without thinking, which in retrospect was probably for the best. Had I tried to shoot him from afar with my bow, I might have missed, or worse yet, hit you instead. In any case, I'm just relieved you're safe. I promise to be more wary from now on, particularly of familiar faces. It hardly needs saying, but remember to keep your guard up as well. For now, I'll resume my efforts to gather information about Samadari's whereabouts. You'll be the first to know once I have a lead. 96, Cornered Prey, complete. Level 98, Imposter Syndrome. Kyuki seems to be on edge. Good to see you. Or should I say Samadari? There's only one way to be sure. I need you to tell me something only you and I would know. When I used the cocoon to take on Toka's form, what creature did I hunt? I don't know. You never told me. Really you? Ooh, that's a relief indeed. I never told you that my arrow struck a great wild boar, a prize for any hunter. Samadari is the only one who ever saw it. Sorry for doubting you, but I could think of no better way to expose him if he had attempted to impersonate you again. I have to remain vigilant, after all, even though no news of his plots has reached me as of late. From here to Yangsha, people are on alert for a many-faced agitator within their midst, and not even a stray cat is beyond scrutiny. While Samadari can no longer act so brazenly, I'm afraid this means his trail's gone cold. We also have another problem. When he pushed me into the Ruby Sea, the remedy I carried was soaked in salt water. I'm afraid it's no longer effective. No doubt his plan from the start was to eliminate the one means we had of undoing the cocoon's mimicry. We're at a disadvantage too great to ignore. This is why I intend to synthesize a new batch. I was just about to go procure the necessary ingredients from the supplier when you arrived. Why don't you join me? Oh, extra shop, right? Never heard of such materials. Where are they found? Deep in the forest of Taral, land beyond the Great Sea, and far, far to the west of here. Taral, I'm afraid my supply chain does not extend quite that far. Feared as much. It doesn't help that the materials can only be harvested when the season is right. Even were I to return home now, I doubt I could find what we need. No choice but to give up on the remedy. I'm sorry, now we're at the mercy of Samadari's cunning. Hello there, tell me, have you any salves that might ease my aching back? So this isn't the apothecary. Where are your spectacles? Oh yes, how could I forget? Ah, much better. Ha, sometimes I forget that I'm as blind as a bat without these. Forgive me, Shirokashi. Excuse me, but do those bits of glass covering your eyes help you see better? But yes, are you unfamiliar with spectacles? Seen folk wearing them before, but I always thought they were decorative, like my choker. Oh, is that her problem? She can't see straight? She's poor vision? Tell me, where can I procure a pair of my own? Yamabuki is your man. He has a breadth of artisan contacts that will ensure you receive a pair fine-tuned to your specifications. You'll find his shop on this very street. I'll look for him, thank you. I'm sorry, you must be completely bewildered. I thought a failure of a hunter like me would never be able to aid you in battle, but I've just come to realize there's hope yet. Let's not crowd this stall any longer. Care to join me over there? If she just got poor vision, that could be a problem. Then again, I thought she was just clumsy. Ever since I was a child, I've had trouble seeing things from afar. That's why my aim with the bow is so poor. Okay. I'm not fit to be a hunter, never was. It's only natural that chores like washing sheets and preparing meals fell to me. I always yearned to do more, to be more. I've looked up to Toka ever since I can remember. No matter how hard I tried, I simply couldn't give up on my dream. I had to be just like her. So I begged her to teach me everything she knew, from the basics of drawing a bow to precise aiming techniques that few hunters use. Yet, despite all her efforts, my sight failed me where it counted most. In my life, I thought this was simply how nature intended for me to be. I was content to accept my lot. Now that I know spectacles may improve my eyesight, I feel hope if I could just try them. Mayhap my arrows would fire true. To join you in battle, maybe even strike down Samadari with my own arrow. We may have lost the remedy, but this would give us an element of surprise. I have to try on spectacles for myself. Alright, let's go meet this Yamabuki. Pair of spectacles, is it? I can certainly get you your order in the pipeline, but I'm afraid there'll be a wait. I'm fresh out of supplies, you see, and the next shipment isn't due for a number of weeks. Of course, if you're in a rush, you could roll up your sleeves and get the materials yourselves. All you need is a glossy shell of an azure hawk's bill and a cluster of orient quartz. Bring them here and my affiliates can begin work immediately. Who knows what schemes Samadari might contrive should we let down our chase for weeks. Would you be willing to lend me a hand with procuring the materials? If we split up, we should be able to gather them in the blink of an eye. Quite the eager pair, I see. In that case, I dare say you'll be able to negotiate with the Blue Kojin for a carapace of splendid quality. I visited Tamamizu during my investigations in the Ruby Sea. I'll handle the shell. Leaves you with the Orient quartz. Pray look for a cavern near Shoal Rock in the Ruby Sea. Sprinkle some glittering gravel to lure the Shoal Iwamushi from its lair within and retrieve a cluster from its shell. Let's meet back here when we're finished. That might have been one of these caves. Lie and wait. Oh, you're the first to return. I trust you have the quartz in hand? Excellent. This will make for a fine pair of lenses. Now we need only wait for your friend. I'm back. I didn't mean to alarm you like that. Spoke with the Kojin of the Blue as planned, but soon learned that hawksteel shells have been sparse of late. They were reluctant to part with a single one. I was able to wear them down, though, until they proposed an exchange. If I dealt with the red Kojin who'd invaded their fishing grounds, they'd spare a shell. I knew my bow would be useless, so I took a leaf out of Zilly's book and fought him up close and personal. As you can see, I took quite the beating, but so did they. Maybe a little worse for wear, but the trouble was worth it. I have the shell as promised, and with it your associates can get started. Indeed they can. Let us first measure your eyesight, and then they can get to work. This is incredible. Everything is so vivid. I'm sure I could hit a bird over the horizon. Come, Zilly, I want to fire some test shots at the sign over there. Hold on, that seems like a fine way to earn the ire of the Sekasegami. I'll prepare some targets for you, so let's move somewhere less crowded. Of course, thank you for going to the trouble. Nice. Not bad. I did it. I really did it. After all these years, my aim is true. When we find Samadare, he won't know what hit him. I don't know if I can properly describe this feeling to you. After so long, I don't feel like someone pretending to be a hunter. Finally, I don't feel like a burden. As soon as I catch even a whiff of Samadare's trail, we'll stop him for good. When that moment arrives, please lend me your strength for one last time. Together we'll retrieve the cocoon and return it to my village. Level 98, Imposter Syndrome. Feet. Level 100, a Hunter True. Kuyuki is eager to discuss new developments with you. Your timing could not have been more impeccable. A person claiming to be an acquaintance of yours stopped by just moments ago, wishing to have a word about Samadare, no less. They're presently waiting in my room, so give me just a moment and I'll bring them here. Serena, you look well. Forgive me for eschewing pleasantries, but there is an urgent matter I wish to discuss. When we first met in Reunion, what did you purchase at the market? What did we eat the night before our trial in Bardham's Meadow? I believe we feasted on gulo gulo meat. You and he competed to see who could bring back the greater haul. It would seem you too have grown wary of imposters. Then we can proceed straight into the heart of the matter. You appeared in Molyo a few days ago. Oh, really? Claiming he had been driven to madness, that he was assembling an army in Doma with plans to conquer the Azim Steppe. For a blessing, we'd already received word from the Doman envoy that an agitator was mimicking others and saw the ruse for what it was. Fortunately, when we attempted to capture them, the imposter transformed into a sheep and disappeared among the bands grazing on the plains. When I informed our friends in Doma of the incident, I was told you have been using Kugane as a base to track down the perpetrator and thought it best to apprise you of this happening. The Madare won't relent. His schemes Won't end until we make them end. You may discover a clue as to his whereabouts in Reunion. If anyone in the steppe has seen him, that is where they'll be. Now I must alert the other tribes to this threat. May the wind speed your way. Off to the Azim steppe, then. With any luck, someone in Reunion will have insight to offer. Someone stirring up trouble? A quarrel among the tribes is as common as the rising sun. Not a day goes by without it. Now, if you excuse me, I have goods to sell. Kindly continue your inquiries elsewhere. I'm the Khan. Like, talk to me. Hey, I'm in charge of this place. Conflict is forbidden in Reunion. This is known. As for my tribe, all is at peace. I heard a rumor of interest, however. It seems Magnai of the Oronir has been behaving strangely of late. Perhaps that is related to the matter you are investigating. Oh, we're going to see Sadu again. That's my girl. Conflict, not besides the normal quarrels between tribes. Certainly no disputes on the scale you speak of. But I have heard rumors that Magnai has been sneaking out from the Dawn Throne. Where could he be going, and to do what, I wonder? Run along, little son. You able to learn anything of interest? Also heard the rumors pertaining to this Magnai. One person even stated they saw him headed towards a place called Bardom's Metal not long ago. Mayhap this is the form Samadare has chosen to take on. Whatever the case may be, we'll find the answer at Bardom's Metal. We can't allow Samadare's depravities to go on any longer. Steel yourself, for when next we face him, we're putting an end to all this. Getting right into it, huh? Good, you're ready. Once the battle begins, there's no telling which form Samadare might take. An imminent warrior, a fearsome beast, or worse. He's also shown more scrupulous behavior in his preparations of late. Whatever his form, we would do best to assume he has thoroughly studied its strengths and will use them to full effect. Yet I am not the feeble hunter I was before. Together with your martial might, my exacting eye, we will defeat him. At long last, Toka shall have her vengeance, and my village shall see the cocoon returned. A duty call. Commence battle for a hunter true. Level sync is in effect. If you are above the maximum allowed level, will be synced as follows. Level 100, item level 680. Proceed. Oh, are they getting together? My beautiful bright sun, I would bask in your warmth till my flesh returns to the earth. Definitely one of them's him. Has the feral dog gone rabid? You speak these honeyed words to lure me into your cot, only to slit my throat as I sleep. Hush, fool, I am your Nama. Though we've had our disagreements in the past, I've come to understand my actions were born of love. Yeah, definitely not her. But only now that I'm forced to wed do I realize this. Despite my shame, I wish to confess my feelings before it's too late. Wed, a Dotharle beast like you, to whom? To what? He and of Doma, by becoming kin, he seeks to leverage the influence of the Dotharle to claim dominion over the steppe. The Doman knows no shame. Very well, I will consider your proposal. Far-fetched though it may be, I cannot overlook the possibility that you are my Nama. But first we must gather our warriors. The Doman's impudence cannot go unpunished. We march for Doma come morrow's dawn. That's not Sadu. That is not your moon. You, what are you doing here? Is it not obvious? They are spies of Doma, come to quash any thought of resistance. You must kill them quickly. But she is a Khan. Yeah. I'm in charge. You two are quite the persistent pair. I had hoped to strike at your backs from the shadows, but now you force my hand. I will select from my repertoire the greatest warriors I have witnessed, and they use their strength to give you the death you so crave. Unbound, Silver-Tongued Samadare. Beginning with her. Hey, Toka. How dare you? When my arrow pierces your breast, Toka will finally know peace. Turning it back now. No. No, I run out my thing. Oh. MMO goes in. All of naught. Gonna be the last transformation. Guess I'll maybe do one more. Didn't give us a duty complete. And no. Take it away. Hit him. Ouch. That's it. Okay, it's finally done. What am I doing here? I feel as though I've just woken from the strangest dream. Yeah, well, you see, this cowardly cur assaulted you from behind and knocked you unconscious. You have shown the sun disgrace this day. You will feel his scorn impressed upon your flesh. You shall forget the warmth of his radiance. In the shadows you will scream, yet none will hear. Prepare yourself. Death would have been too good a fate for him. He deserves to spend the rest of his days feeling the weight of his crimes. Now we've honored Toka's memory and reclaimed the cocoon. No words can express my gratitude. I can finally go home, but my community awaits our foremost hunter's triumphant return. What expression will come over their faces when the village disgrace arrives instead? I don't know if I can bear to see. My journey to reclaim the Dreamweave cocoon has come to an end at long last. Would that I could return home in high spirits. As I recall, you said Shashepya is the one who requested your help. Yes, let us make the journey back to Tuliolol and report to her all that has happened. You're back. Were you able to retrieve the Dreamweave cocoon? Toka isn't with you? Yuki, thank goodness you're alive. Fair soul, rest in the cocoon's embrace. I can't believe Toka is gone. Yes, our village's greatest hunter is lost to us, while its greatest failure survives. Here, take the cocoon back where it belongs. Home. I have no right to return. Don't be ridiculous. You are a child of the forest, and you are a dear sister. You can always, always come home. The entire village has been worried sick about you. We all saw how crestfallen you were, so when you suddenly disappeared, we feared you took your life. For 3 days and 3 nights, we scoured land and water to find you. Yet look at you now. Not only are you hale and whole, but you have reclaimed the cocoon, too. I'm sure that Toka's spirit hunting in the forest above is smiling down at you with pride. She would much rather you take up her mantle and protect the village than wallow in guilt over her death. Nothing escapes your gaze now, after all, isn't that right? Thank you, Shashepya. It's settled. You will return home with me, and finally our village can breathe a sigh of relief. And it would be remiss of me not to thank you properly for assisting Yuki in reclaiming the Dreamweave cocoon. You have my heartfelt gratitude. I was little more than a liar and a hypocrite when we first met. During our time together, I discovered that I'm so much more than that, that with the right tools, even I could become a hunter worthy of following in Toka's footsteps. I'm truly grateful to you for helping me to see that. Farewell for now. I hope that one day our paths may cross again. Level 100, a Hunter True, complete. Quest complete. Achievement unlocked. Dreams woven anew.